As I travel around this great league, I'm so excited by the fans that have greeted me in the stands, courtside, in the streets, in the malls. Everywhere I go, I hear from people on social media, wonderful questions, wonderful concerns, and mostly just support for the things that we're doing. Thank you all for caring so much about this league and for being the reason why this league has been successful for 5 years and will continue to grow for a long time to come. In these programs on NBL Canada Live, you'll see highlights of our players, interesting stats that you may not have been aware of, interviews with our players and coaches, as well as announcements of exciting new opportunities to come. Thank you for investing so much of your emotional energy into this league, and know that it will not return void, as we're going to have the best year yet. Be blessed. This is David Magley, Commissioner.
I am Kobe K, joined alongside my co-host and partner inside the broadcast booth for the Windsor Express, Mr. Brett Hedges. We are going to be taking a look at the NBL Canada's week in review, outlining power rankings, highlights, recaps, and of course, player interviews. Your one-stop shop for all things NBL Canada related. But first, Mr. Brett Hedges, how awesome is this?
I'm absolutely excited to be a part of this this weekly podcast for the NBL Canada fans. Just keeping everybody informed on what's going on in the NBL Canada across both divisions, and giving our insight along the way about who's hot, who's not, and who's ready to perform for the NBL Canada fans.
I am so excited. I thought this was such a cool opportunity, not only for you and I, but for Knockstrom and everybody in the league, for us fans and staff to come together and just enjoy ourselves talking NBL Canada basketball. So now let's get you guys caught up with all of the things that happened from around the league this week.
The Halifax Hurricanes sit comfortably on top of the Atlantic Division with a 9-3 record. They picked up 2 wins this week in their 96-92 win against the Miracles. Shane Gibson led his team in scoring for the first time this season with 19 points, while Billy White was 1 rebound short of a double-double. The Island Storm had a tough week, dropping both games they competed in. First at home against Halifax, it lost 94-85, despite some spirited play from Brent Jennings and new addition Raheem Singleton. They went out on the road to face the Miracles and were only able to muster 83 points. Both games happened to be their 2 lowest scoring outputs of the year. The London Lightning had a perfect 3-0 week that saw them dispatch Niagara, Windsor, and the Orangeville A's, thanks to a big shot courtesy of Nick Okore. They have the best record in NBL Canada. The Moncton Miracles went 2-1 this week, which was highlighted by a crazy buzzer beater shot to sink the Millrats. They didn't have an answer against Halifax, but quickly bounced back to take care of the Storm. James Justice continues to lead his team in scoring and currently sits 5th in the league at just over 22 points per game. The Niagara River Lions had a tough week, going 3-0 despite the addition of newcomer Billy Rush. Their first game of the week was against London at the Meridian Center, but lost that late in the fourth quarter thanks to a Warren Ward 3-ball. They went on the road to square off against the A's, but that proved unfruitful, and their final game of the week was against the Windsor Express without leading scorer Logan Stutz and Sammy Zeglinski, who sat out the game. Despite not having their big guns in the lineup, the River Lions would only lose by 3 points. The Orangeville A's started their week on a high when they secured their first home win of the season when they beat the River Lions. They hoped their momentum would carry over in their game against London at Bud Gardens, but unfortunately that wasn't the case, and they were on the receiving end of a shot heard around the league. Much like the A's, the Millrats know a thing or two about losing a close one. Things looked good down the stretch, but a miraculous shot by Moncton would see St. John lose their only contest of the week. The Windsor Express had an up-and-down week that saw them battle back from a 23-point deficit against London, only to lose the game with a final score of 123-115. But they were able to bounce back against a shorthanded Niagara club. Tony Bennett has been spectacular, averaging 25 points per game in both contests. And that's your NBL Canada Week in a Flash.
Next up, we're going to look at our 3 top stories of the week. Now, Brett, you're going to start and tell us about a player you and I know all too well, a newcomer to the Windsor Express.
Yes, Brandon Robinson of the Windsor Express. 10 games now he's dressed for the red and white, and in those 10 games he has dropped 25 points per game. He's first in the league in steals per game with 3.5. He's 6th in the league in assists per game, and he averages almost 8 boards per game. He's a statistician's nightmare, and he's been a big part of the Windsor Express's success. If not for him, they may not be 6-6 this season.
And like you said, does a lot more than just scoring, although it should be noted that he does lead the league in points per game. So this is a big addition to the Windsor Express, who certainly had a hole on the offensive end before Brandon Robinson got there. But for me, it's Nick O'Corey and that big shot Saturday night at Budweiser Gardens over the Orangeville A's. This guy's played 6 games for the London Lightning this year, and he's delivered 15 points, 5 assists. But that big shot, it sent a ripple and a shockwave through the league. London Lightning letting everybody know we are back. But really, they never went anywhere. They've been a dominant and great franchise in this league right from the beginning. 2-time champs. First in offensive rebounds, over 15 per game. Second in boards. They hold opponents' three-point shooting to under 30%. They're first in scoring margin, and I believe they lead the NBL in fourth quarter scoring. So the London Lightning are very much for real, and in my eyes, the best team in the NBL right now.
Absolutely, but on the other side of the division, the Atlantic divisions, we've got a dogfight for first place in that division. We've got the Halifax Hurricanes, who came out of the gates firing, and they are now 9-3. But it is the St. John Millrats who have really been making a lot of noise in the Atlantic division and sit at 7-5. This team averages 110 points per game, and they are led by 5 scorers who average over 14 points per game, led by Doug Herring Jr.'s over 20 points per game. But it is the effectiveness of the forward, Gabe Freeman, who is just driving this offense for the Millrats. Almost 20 points per game on the offensive side, 10 rebounds per game for the Millrats. This team is exciting to watch, and if they continue this trend, there may be an NBL Canada Championship coming to New Brunswick this year. So some exciting stuff coming out of St. John.
Well, next up, we're going to look at how all of the top teams in the NBL fared over the last calendar week. We're going to send it to the boys in London, Marty Thompson and Chris Croucher, bringing you your official NBL Canada Power Rankings.
Thanks, guys. Marty and Chris here with you. We're going to be talking about the power rankings for the entire league. Chris, let's start at the very bottom, and in this case, it's the Niagara River Lions, the newest franchise in the league.
Yeah, they're an expansion team, so it's not unexpected. They've got 2 great pieces in Logan Stutz and Sammy Zaglinski. They need to get some better performances out of some of the other guys. They're a team that could move up really quickly, though, if the bench starts to play a little bit more up to their potential.
Coming in at number 7, a very streaky team in the Moncton Miracles.
They've been incredibly streaky, but I mean, they're one of the better offenses in the league. They're currently 2nd in league offense. So they're a team that, if they get the defense under control, because right now, one of the worst defenses in the league, if they get that under control, they could be a dangerous team as the season goes on.
And going back to the Central Division, coming in at number 6, the Orangeville A's.
Yeah, Orangeville's a team we haven't really seen a whole lot of. They've actually played less games than the other teams, but I mean, they've put some great performances together. Justin Moss has had a great season so far. They're a team that we don't know as much about as we could, but as soon as we see more, we're going to know more.
Coming in at number 5 is the Island Storm, a team that's kind of been all over the place, winning and losing, not something we've really expected from the PEI team.
Yeah, and the Island Storm problem right now is they don't have necessarily a go-to guy. They don't have anyone who's averaging over 15 points, and it's a great team effort. But when they've needed some of those crucial buckets late in games, they haven't really had anyone that they can really give the ball to and make something happen. So the Island Storm, they're going to have someone step up there if they want to continue to move up.
Number 4 on our list is the Windsor Express, sitting around 500 so far.
Yeah, Windsor, they're a 2-time champion. I mean, there's any team that I would pick to move up quickly, it would probably be those guys. They had a very rough trip out east, but we didn't drop them too much because that's a lot of travel to do in a very short amount of time. So we kind of forgave them for some of those losses.
And then coming in at number 3, St. John, veteran team and very good so far this season.
Yeah, they had a very hot start. They've cooled off a bit as other teams in the East have sort of figured out what they want to do, and they've got excellent guard play. They're a very dangerous team.
Absolutely. Coming in at number 2, the Halifax Hurricanes, 8 wins, the first team to get 8 wins so far this season.
Halifax has definitely been dominating the East. They're one of the teams that's actually playing formidable defense in the East too. Their point differential +3 is the reason we didn't move them up, because it's a rather small point differential. But Halifax definitely the class of the East right now.
And coming in at number 1, the London Lightning, right here at Budweiser Gardens.
Simply put, they've won 5 straight. They've got the best record in the Central right now, 8-2, and they're a team that they're very, very, very good, and they're playing strongly right now.
Absolutely. That'll just about do it for us. Back to you guys.
And someone that we got our attention this past weekend when we called the Windsor Express versus London Lightning was Akeem Wright, a fantastic basketball player for that franchise. This past week, Orangeville A's play-by-play announcer Kelsey Wright got to sit down with Akeem for our exclusive interview of the week.
Akeem Wright, you had a great game tonight. You went perfect from the field in the first half. How does that happen?
I just was in the gym, shooting, getting up shots. I think when I first got here, I was a little tired. I just got with the team, so I didn't know all the plays, and I wasn't really comfortable. But the Thursday game against Niagara, I really got into a groove then. Just been having practices, getting up shots, and getting ready for this game. So just confident shooting the ball. I know how they was going to play us. They were going to leave a lot of us open, dare us to make shots, and I just stepped into it in rhythm and just made them tonight.
And now, Akeem, you're the new guy on the team. This is your third game with the team.
Yeah.
How do you feel out there?
I feel good. I think, just this last week, just getting to know everybody, it made it easy because I already knew Garrett, I already knew Mustafa. We friends, we all from Philly, so we kind of knew each other. They've been helping me, get to know the rest of the guys, and everybody's been helpful. Just any advice, any help I need with anything, they've been telling me. So it's just a great group of guys, and we all on one page right now, and that's just win as many games as we can. So.
Absolutely. Now you're from Philly. Do you know Bilal Ben on the
Yeah, I know Bilal too. We all friends. We all, it's funny because we all work out together when we're home, and we all compete against each other. So it's fun. And whenever you get to play in another country and compete against your friends, that's just a lot of fun. So.
Awesome. Now my very last question, Akeem. You've been great. We've only seen you for 3 games now. What can we expect from you for the rest of the season?
Hopefully the same results. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to go perfect from the field every game. I know I'm going to have some bad games, but just continue to be a leader for these young guys and continue to show that I'm one of the best players in this league. I played here a few times already, so I know a lot of the guys already know me, but just have fun out there. I'm a confident player, so I know that I'm going to be up there when y'all think and talk about some of the top guys, y'all going to mention my name. So.
Next segment is going to be led by none other than Chuck Miller, and all you stat heads out there are going to love this one. He takes a look at the block party that Anthony Stover's been throwing as we head over to Chuck Miller's official stat segment.
Hi, Chuck Miller here, your NBL Canada League statistician with today's NBL Canada Cool Stat of the Week. St. John's Anthony Stover had the season's first triple-double with 14 points, 14 boards, and 10 block shots in a win over Halifax. The last time an NBL Canada player recorded a triple-double with block shots, February of 13, when Moncton's Isaac Butts had 23 points, 20 boards, and 10 blocks against the Halifax Rainmen. And that's your NBL Canada Cool Stat of the Week.
Definitely what I focus on the most is timing. I wait for the ball to get to the fingertips of my opponent's hands, and that's when I jump and go after it. So it's all timing. Definitely, it makes me feel better than even scoring. I love blocking shots and seeing the crowd's reactions. I felt great, but I attest that to my team. They got me the ball and scoring, and they helped me be in the right position on defense to block all those shots.
And a guy like Anthony Stover can be so integral to the success of a basketball team, just like St. John. Almost 4 blocks a game. That is a humongous statistic for a defense, and it should be a big part of their team heading forward. So a big player for St. John, Anthony Stover.
Good stuff. Well, folks, that's going to do it from Brett and Kobe today. Make sure to look back for this show weekly on NBLCanada.ca. But before we let you get out of here, we are going to showcase all of the action that went on over the course of the last week with some individual player highlights. Enjoy. Peace.
Makes it a 4-point game. Okori steals the ball to Sean Patterson to the rack.
Looking to set a screen for Zaglinski. Zaglinski breaks the defense and hits
everything. You really have to go.
He attacks. Goes up. Layup.
Anderson and Stover. Nice follow there. I don't know.
Well, tough to tell. I thought it was.
Oh, wow. You're taking 20.6 points a game and 6.5 assists a game out of your lineup.
Turnaround jumper lets it go. No good. Maxwell saves it from going out of bounds, but he hands it off to Bolden instead. He slams it.
Uses the screen and attacks. He's blocked.
And folks, let's see what we got here. One last heave.
That might go.
Oh! Nice pass inside to Marcus Capers.
The Express trying to dump. What more could I say about this fella? And are we going to have continuation?
Please count that. Yes. And one. Akeem Wright.
Nice roll by.
Oh, another big block from Stover.
Awesome defense. Great pass to Murray.
Block. Mo Bolden.
With it.
There's the numbers
Gets
here.
it over to Justice.
Oh. Adrian Moss off the glass. And it is good. And one.
Yes, sir.
Alley-oop.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That
Cheeks with the steal. He's breaking out. Throws it.
Little baby hook inside, and Stover gets free for a two-hand.
Ball stolen away.